All right, so now we're going to start the lesson on circuits. And circuits is probably one of the more challenging units in AP Physics 2 or E&M. A lot of people just get really hung up on it because the math is actually really simple, but the setup and the understanding and the application of the principles and the application of even the equations can be tricky to understand on how we put it all together. But the math itself is not anything more than you would cover in algebra. Okay, no calculus is involved for most of the challenging parts of the circuit analysis. Okay, so intro to circuits. Basic idea of circuits is we are going to have charges moving through in a conductor. And this is probably the thing you are most familiar with in everyday life. You charge your cell phone, you have electricity. What is happening is there is a flow of electrons in there because they're conductors. They have electrons in them. Those electrons are going to flow. Now, in general speaking, the electrons, because it's confined to a metal, it's not like there are extra electrons, right? All the metal, all the things, all the outlets and stuff like that, they're all just these all big pieces of metal. And ultimately, what's happening is the electrons are just going to be flowing in a loop in a way. You might be like, that's why when you plug something in, it's got two prongs. It's because you got to create this little circuit, this little loop for the electrons to flow. And on like your charging cables for like your cell phone and stuff like that, there will be a power line and a ground line. And that's because it's just similar like you plugging into the wall is there's a ground and a power line, and that completes this loop here. It's kind of like your house has a little outlet here, like these little two plugs like there. And then once you plug something in, you are completing that loop. Okay, so the electrons would not keep flowing if there's a loop because they have to. The total charge is zero. It's not like you're getting extra electrons. This is the tricky part. It's not like electrons are. Some people think of electricity as like the electrons are like fuel or something like that. It's not like that. The electrons are just there and they're just moving through it. Okay, think of it more like a moving river, right? And you're harnessing the energy of that moving river. Like if you had like a water wheel or a hydroelectric dam or something like that, the motion of the water. We're harnessing the energy by the motion of the electrons that are moving, okay? And they move in a loop like that. So let's talk about some terminology you've got to understand. Voltage or potential difference. Same potential difference we've been talking about in electrostatics causes an electric field. When you have a wire connected to a potential difference, then FYI, it's not an equilibrium anymore. So in electrostatics, right, the previous units, electrostatics, we were talking about static situations. We are no longer talking about static situations. We're having a potential difference where electrons are then moving through this potential difference. And it's like a pressure difference. You want to think of potential as like, it's not that the charges are moving, but they have the potential to move. Okay? That's why it's called electric potential. And a little bit confusing. They have the potential to move. Like your outlet in your at your house, those, if you know, don't stick a fork in there or anything like that, but those prongs are producing, for simplicity, we'll say 120 volt potential difference. Okay, like an electric potential difference there. Now, it doesn't mean any current is flowing. Not until you plug something in does the charge actually begin to move, but that potential difference is still there. If you were to take a voltmeter, something that measures potential difference, and put it in there, as long as you've set it for voltage, I've done this before, it actually works. It's how electricians will validate whether or not the electricity in that outlet is working correctly. You can measure what the potential difference is always, and they're going to measure it at like about 120 volts. It's created commonly from a battery or a power source. Okay, and so, and just real quick on sign convention, we'll cover this a lot more later. Sign convention is based on the plus or minus signs across the device element. And as we go into more circuits, we will talk more about that later and later. So that's the potential, that's the pressure, that's the thing that's going to cause the electrons to move. But the actual motion of the electrons is the current. This is the actual movement of charges. So like I said, with the outlet, you have the 120 volts there, but the electrons aren't necessarily going to move unless you put something there. And the current is when they actually begins to move there. So think about like a dam. A dam blocks off the water from flowing, right? So there's a lot of this pressure. Like if the dam were gone, this water would flow right through and flood everything because we've blocked up that water. So the dam is holding back the pressure. So there's pressure, but then if you were to release that pressure, you were to blow up the dam, then the water would begin to flow. Then the water is moving. So that's why current and potential difference are two different things. One is about the pressure. You need both to cause the charges to move, but the current is the actual movement of charges. It's the electrons that are actually moving, okay? The units of current, because this is coulombs per second. It's the rate of change that the charges are traveling. So it's when we use the unit amps, and current is with an I. Why is it with an I? I have no idea, honestly. And why is the unit amps? Well, I mean, it's named after ampere, but like why don't we use A instead of I? Got me. I can't tell you any about that. We use I for current. The units are amps, which is coulombs per second. Sign convention, positive current direction is opposite the direction of the electrons. Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. So for example, if I know it's because when they invented the sign convention, they just assumed positive charges were the charges that were moving. They didn't know anything about electrons. It wasn't until later. So if we have electrons, and the electrons, let's say in a wire, are traveling this way, then the current is actually going this way. Current is opposite the direction of the electrons going. And so in a way we abstract away, don't worry about that it's actually electrons. Just imagine that there are positive charges that are moving. Current would be the direction that those positive charges were moving. In reality, it's not positive charges moving, but that is how the sign convention of current works, is it is moving in the direction that a positive charge would theoretically go, or opposite the direction that the electrons would go. I would not think about it as electrons beyond this point. When we do circuit analysis, just think of the current as just going as though they were positive charges. It will just make your life easier. It does effectively the same thing. It does not really matter that it's actually electrons that are doing it, but that is a practical aspect you should keep in mind. So let's just do like a really quick question here. How many electrons flow through a point of wire in 3 seconds if there's a constant current of 4 amps? So the current is the amount of charge per time. So the amount of charge would be current times the time is the amount of charge that's flowing. So that's 4 amps times 3 seconds, and that's 12 amp seconds, or 12 coulombs, right? Because remember, this is coulombs per second times seconds is 12 coulombs. But how many electrons is that? Well, we know there's 1 coulomb is 1.6 times 10 to the, or an electron, sorry, we'll just say 1 electron. Maybe because we want electrons on top, because we want a number of electrons. Electrons per coulomb. So we know 1 electron is 1.6 times 10 to the negative 19 coulombs. And so then you multiply those 2 or 12 or divide if you want. And we end up with 7.5 times 10 to the 19 electrons. Like that. Okay? And that's the setup, okay? And we're going to get deeper into it in the next lessons.